One of the biggest challenges modern actors face is getting a grip on that vague thing that we sometimes call presence. People who have presence are always audience favorites, and boy, do directors like to cast them. Sometimes, as a director, I need to work to find ways to draw presence out of a reluctant actor. Here's the story of the day that I stumbled across something concrete, an ongoing reminder of what the actor was expected to do, which in turn drew presence out of him. Hey everybody, I'm Tim Mooney with the Timothy Mooney Repertory Theater, and today I'm continuing to work through acting at the speed of life, conquering theatrical style. At this point, you should be able to find the introductions and the first 5 chapters online for free. And if you're watching this at breakneckshakespeare.com, you'll also find all kinds of goodies, including full performances of at least 7 of my one-man plays that you can share with your friends or your classes at a low, low price. Starting with the full play, Shakespeare's Histories, 10 epic plays at a breakneck pace for free. Why do I give it away for free? Because I know you'll be hooked and want to catch them all. Today, we're going to explore theatrical presence in Chapter 6, the Tim Mooney 3-second rule. So, there I am directing The Imaginary Invalid. I wrote this version of Moliere's play myself, so I have a pretty good feel for how I want it to go. In fact, I'd written many of the chapters of this book already, so I've got a substantial bag of tricks pretty well developed by now. In fact, I have choreographed the action to within an inch of its life, as one reviewer puts it, and the stage positions effectively set up lotsy comic business and put the focus on whichever character has the key moment or line again and again and again. And there, in the middle of Act 2, we hit the monologue, where the character of Dr. Diafoirus holds court in front of the other characters for a good 2 pages. There are perhaps a dozen people on stage who toss in the occasional mocking one-liner before this fellow resumes holding forth, giving an unintentionally bad impression of his son, Thomas Diafoirus, the very one he is trying to brag about. I have cleared out the stage for him, and my blocking of this scene has left the other 10 characters on stage in a semi-circular arc with a large clearing down center. My actor can weave his way through this semicircle, passing upstage and downstage of his fellow performers, and he can occasionally take over that large area down center and own the space. There's a problem. He doesn't have an instinct for this. Again and again, his attention and his delivery will drift to a performer upstage of himself, or sideways to a performer who is across from him, placing himself in profile, or worse, with his back to the audience. 2 or 3 times, he and I mark our way through the scene, and he understands consciously what he is supposed to be doing, and when. He gets the concept of opening up to the audience. But bring the rest of the actors back onto the stage with him, and he gives it all, upstage, to them again, with his back or his profile to the audience. This is a presentational play, with words that carry shades and multiplicities of meaning, which are now getting harder for the audience to understand, lost in the actor's instinctive realism, or perhaps his instinctive neediness as he turns away to his fellow actors for reassurance or reinforcement. We have come back to the scene for a 3rd time, and each time we have come back, we spend an hour trying to inject the scene with a sense of the style that the rest of the play carries, or at least to solidify some of the blocking that I've plotted out. Unless we figure this out, the actor will end up looking bad next to the others who are comfortable with this style. And we are quickly running out of the rehearsal time that has been scheduled for this particular scene. I get an idea. I send the other actors out of the rehearsal hall on a half-hour break. With only myself, the stage manager, and this performer in the room, I suggest the most outrageous acting exercise that I've ever put together, the Tim Mooney 3-second rule. Registered trademark. Anyone who follows the game of basketball knows the 3-second rule. That's the rule that any player on the offense cannot remain in the paint for more than 3 seconds at any given stretch without getting whistled for a lane violation, turning the ball over to the opposing team. There is a particular prop in this show, the tiny bell which Argon rings to summon the maid Toinette, all the while shouting ting-a-ling, ting-a-ling after her. Here's the deal. We're going to create a 3-second rule. You are welcome to look left or right or even upstage as you act, but you must open up to the audience looking downstage at some point during the course of any 3 seconds of this monologue. If I find that 3 seconds have gone by without you looking downstage, I will ring this bell as a reminder that you have not been sharing this material with the audience. Another actor might have been offended by the crass, unforgiving nature of this very mechanical measurement of his success. This actor, however, was eager for something that would give him a handle on this, or perhaps that would get me off of his back. Theories of positioning and placement were abstract to him and went out the window when he found himself working to carry the scene alongside his fellow performers. This, however, was something concrete, a living reminder of what he was expected to do and a continuous check on when he was not satisfying that expectation. It started out rough at first, with me ringing the bell again and again. Each time he would mutter a quiet "damn" and adjust his position and soldier on. Within 20 minutes, he was performing with style. He had mastered the art of turning out to the audience and felt in his bones the rightness of being out there for the audience rather than giving it all upstage to his fellows. In this most outrageous and literally Pavlovian fashion, the little bell had become a reminder that nudged him away from the wings and out toward the house. For a play of a more realistic style, our measuring standard might be much longer. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or a given stylistic convention might demand that whichever character is speaking continuously looks downstage until someone else picks up the thread of the dialogue. Whatever the choice, we in the audience feel it, indelibly fused with the vision and the style, peculiarly embracing this particular universe. Wasn't that kind of crass and manipulative? Yes. Was his performance better? Much. Could the audience see and hear better? Yes. Did he survive opening night? Quite well. Could you have gone about this in a different way? With all the rehearsal time in the world, yes, of course. All I can say is that it's better than the electrified fence. P.S. Of course, this was one exercise for one actor in one rehearsal. I have heard reports back from directors since this was first published that this exercise has worked for them, which is great. But perhaps the more important takeaway was that the actor had something proactive to do and a clearer understanding and measurement of what success would look like. Actors who are repeatedly told, "Don't do that," become more conscious of avoidance behaviors than active pursuit of an objective. They are more conscious of what they can't do than what they might do, and that's perhaps the bigger problem. The most powerful actors I know are those who can stand facing downstage with the rest of the cast standing upstage of them and toss the line back over their shoulder without feeling the need to turn back around to look at them, remaining comfortable in the ongoing state of availability to the audience. Those are actors that I will cast again and again. And that's Chapter 6. I love reading your comments, and I generally respond to all of them. Do you feel a certain gravitational pull to look away from the audience at your fellow castmates? Or are you comfortable in a position of availability? Let me know below. This now completes the opening section of this book, which has been all about being seen. Chapter 7 will launch us into Section 2, which is, of course, being heard. You do not want to miss that. So please hit like and subscribe to this channel. Again, if you just can't wait for the next chapter, you can get your copy of Acting at the Speed of Life, Conquering Theatrical Style, and read your way ahead. Once again, I'm Tim Mooney, and I'm almost constantly on the road with my 7 or so one-man plays, such as Breakneck Hamlet and Breakneck Romeo and Juliet, all of which are now available on breakneckshakespeare.com. Drop me a note if you'd like one of these mind-blowing events at your theater. Many thanks to the Crystal DeHaan Family Foundation, as well as our loyal Patreon supporters whose generous support helps me put this work out there into the universe. Thanks for joining me. See you on the stage.